Everyone, welcome back to Pine Hollow Auto Diagnostics. We're in a 2015 Jeep Wrangler that just got dropped off. Let's read the customer complaint. Long history with this vehicle, but his complaint is the check engine light's on. Okay, let's take a look. Alright, here's what the customer wrote before bringing the Jeep over. Swapped in Jasper reman 3.6 liter Pentastar engine beginning of the year. Codes for small evap leak and catalyst system below threshold. Checked readings for O2 sensors. Did smoke tests. Could not determine causes. Did not want to start throwing sensors and parts at the vehicle until I knew for sure what the issue was, but I can't find the root cause of the issue. Vehicle inspection expires. Going to tow your location. Will not pass emissions due to codes. Heard about repair inspection. Blah blah blah. If you need the exact codes, I need to drive it. Put new batteries in it. Either way, I'll have new batteries when I bring it in. So, the Jeep starts, it runs, and it's got a little Christmas tree going on, ABS lights on. But the batteries were just installed, so the check engine light is not on. We need to run the monitors and see what the codes are. So that's step one. Let's take this thing for a test drive. Just look at some basic OBD2 data. I did the full code scan. There are some, random codes, low battery voltage. The piece probably got aftermarket lights. So I kind of want to just start from scratch here. It doesn't like the right rear wheel speed sensor circuit. Apparently there's a problem with that. The PCM has no codes at the moment. So in OBD2 mode, let's enter this, read some basic live data. I just want to see fuel trims, oxygen sensor values. The customer said that we have an evap fault and a catalyst fault because one of the oxygen sensors wasn't reading right. But let's see all of the oxygen sensors, long-term trims, short-term trims, and engine RPM, engine coolant temperature. I think that should be enough for now. So all the trims are at 0. Bank 1 sensor 1. Bank 2 sensor 1, so these should oscillate up and down. Bank 2 sensor 2, bank 1 sensor 2. Bank 1 sensor 2 looks fine. Bank 2 sensor 2 obviously looks like it's oscillating along with the upstream. So bank 2 cat looks shot. Fuel trims look just fine, 0%, so it probably runs fine. Let's take it for a nice long test drive, see if we can pass the evap monitor, and go from there. By the way, in OBD2 mode, on newer vehicles, you'll see these permanent codes. Even if you clear codes, it'll remember existing codes for at least a few drive cycles, and they'll be labeled as permanent codes. So we'll save this in a report. These are the two codes that the customer was talking about. So the 430 is definitely a problem. Bank 2 cat is indeed compromised for whatever reason. There's no exhaust leaks. All the oxygen sensors are fine. So he will need a bank 2 cat to pass emissions inspection. But the 456 evap system leak detected, very small leak. That might be really tough to find. The 456, these are tough to track down. But let's save these in a report for our reference so we don't have to, drive it for an hour just to reset these codes. And then we can do a smoke check on the evap system and see if there's any leaks indicated by the smoke machine. First, let's do the ABS light. So on this side, it looks like an axle seal is leaking. Everything's covered in this grime. I did manage to extract the ABS sensor right here. It looks disgusting. But plugging in the replacement sensor that the owner provided did clear the codes out, so there was a circuit code. So internally this sensor is definitely bad. So let's pop this one in, and I already cleared the codes, so that should take care of the ABS light. Alright, let's diagnose this Evap system. 456, a very small leak. Let's do a visual inspection, find the components. So here is the purge hose, comes over here, and the purge solenoid looks like it's the hose has been modified. It's looped in a little curl, and then this is the line coming from the tank. So I don't know what is going on here, but under the truck we have the Chrysler ESIM valve, which is there's two kind of plungers in there. If the pressure rises above 1 inch of water, it'll open, let the vent out. So I disconnected the vent and just put a silicone hose on there. And if the vacuum falls below a certain threshold, it'll let air in. And there's an electrical switch right here that should close when a slight vacuum is pulled. So like when the purge solenoid opens, this sucker should trip. So I'm monitoring live data, ESIM switch, and fuel tank pressure. So first, I'm going to blow on the hose. Let's put the scanner over here so you guys can see both data PIDs. So fuel tank pressure sensor is great. ESIM remains open. I'm going to release the pressure. I should drop to close to 0 psi, but not quite, because those little valves in the ESIM prevent, from going to 0 with the little springs. Now I'm going to suck on the hose. And release. ESIM switch remains open. So is this ESIM switch bad? Does it never close? That should set a 440 code, not a 456. But I don't like this right now. Let's remove it and bench test it and make sure that ESIM switch actually works before doing any further checks on the Evap system. Okay, so I removed the ESIM valve. You just get in here and twist it quarter turn. There's tabs on it. Obviously still says open, so we could jump the 2 pins right there, make sure it says closed, and then bench test this sucker right here. I see some green crusties right there. So perhaps the switch is working, but the green crusties, this thing's shot. I think. See that crack? So maybe there's no continuity at all when this thing holds some vacuum. So we might need a new one of these, but let's test it on the bench and test the circuitry on the Jeep. Alright, perfect. ESIM switch shows closed with the test light connected across the 2 pins. That's perfect. Let's take this thing on the bench and maybe use an ohm meter, see if we can get this thing to trip. Alright, doing a quick bench test on the ESIM valve. So I just have an ohm meter connected across those 2 pins. It needs to be in this orientation with the vent facing down. And all we got to do is blow and suck on this orifice, and if you suck on it, it should close the valve. So here we go. Conclusive proof this thing is junk. We need a new one of these, but we can still do our smoke test by reinstalling it, putting the hose on here, pinching it off, the way the system will be closed, and then introducing smoke into the purge line by the engine. Alright, we got our smoke machine hooked up. Banksy, the diagnostic boxer, is trying to help out. Here's the purge hose. I did test the purge solenoid. It does hold vacuum, so not a problem. Under the Jeep, at the Emission valve, that's reinstalled, and I have the vent pinched off. So if you unpinch it, obviously the smoke is coming out, so we need to close off the vent, and there's no vent solenoid, so you have to do it manually. Make sure there's no smoke coming out of that hose. And now we wait. See if there's any leaks indicated by the smoke machine. That's not very helpful. Well, after a few minutes, we still have some flow through the smoke machine. That's right at that very small leak zone. So how the heck do we find this thing? I didn't see any smoke anywhere. All the fittings are tight. Let's take another look under the truck. So that code set, I assume, when the Emission valve was still operational, but now after it's sat for a few months, that valve is broken, so we definitely need to replace that, but there still is a small leak somewhere. Alright, so this is steady state of the flow ball, and on live data, fuel tank pressure is 5.3 psi. If I turn off the flow, it starts decaying pretty quickly. There has to be a leak somewhere, but I cannot find it. It's a very small leak, just like the code said. It should not be decaying like this. Turn the flow back up. See, there's more flow. It has to refill the system. Pressure goes back up. Check the gas cap, the filler neck. So we'll keep looking. Alright, so next step for finding a very small leak, we have to isolate components of the system. So we still have the same flow, but right now, at the charcoal canister, I took off the hose that goes to the gas tank and just capped it off. So now all we're testing is the line from the purge solenoid. It comes in here into the canister, and the canister itself with the Emission valve. What's the next step? We could take this line off, cap that off, and just test the line. So line or canister is are the only options for the leak now. So we've eliminated the gas tank, the filler neck, everything else. That's all good. We're down to the canister and the purge line. Alright, so I took off the fitting right there at the purge line, capped that off. No leaks, so the leak's going to be between that fitting and the Emission valve. We're very close to the problem. Well, soapy water to the rescue. Is it coming from the Emission seal? Let me check that O-ring. This is crazy. Mystery solved with 3M silicone paste. I reseated the Emission valve and turn on the smoke machine. 0 leaks. We're done. Awesome. So we're going to replace the Emission valve because it doesn't work, and we fixed the leak, so all the problems were in one area. This Jeep is as good to go. Just needs a catalytic converter on bank 2. Next morning, from Fisher Auto Parts, we got this standard motor products LDP14, made in the USA. That's just the Emission valve. Let's check it on the bench here with the ohm meter, make sure that the little switch works, and then install it on the Jeep and verify there are no leaks so we can give it back to the customer. So right now the switch is open. I'm just going to blow on this port. It's the same as creating vacuum on this side. Here we go, just a little bit. Beautiful. So that works perfectly. It comes with a new gasket. I'm going to put a little silicone on here, make sure there are no leaks, and we'll hook up the smoke machine. Okay, so the new Emission valve is installed. Let's turn on our smoke machine and verify that there are no leaks. System is filling up. I'll give it a minute. Make sure that ball drops all the way down. Beautiful. Now I want to hook up the scanner, shut off the flow, and make sure the pressure in the system and the fuel tank is maintained. Alright, so there's no flow. Look at that, 5.8 psi, rock steady. There are 0 leaks in this evap system, so I feel confident that we definitely resolved that problem. So it was a bad eSIM switch, and there was a small leak at the eSIM switch, so all the problems were in the same area. So we'll take this thing for a test drive, make sure the ABS system works fine, and the customer will have to replace the driver's side converter because the P0430 will come back. That's guaranteed. So I think we'll leave it at that, and thanks a lot for watching. That was a fairly straightforward diagnosis, but for small leaks we have to go the extra step of dividing the evap system and checking the line separately, the canister. I narrowed it down that way with some soapy water. The smoke, even with a really nice smoke machine, you won't always see it for those P0456 very small leak codes. So that's it, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye. Well, bonus footage test drive. No Christmas tree. All of our wheel speeds look great. ABS problem's definitely fixed. Well, let's go back to OBD2 and see if any of the monitors will pass. I'm sure the CAT and the Evap will be last to run, but still want to do a little test drive before returning the Jeep back to the customer. Okay, looking at some oxygen sensors after cruising for about 5 miles. Bank 1 sensor 2 is definitely more stable than Bank 2 sensor 2. You can see that this catalyst has lost efficiency. Let's see if there are any pending codes. There you go, P0430 pending. So we're going to save this in a report and just let the customer know that this code will definitely come back after, another drive cycle. Here we go. We got a bing. Check engine light is back on. Let's make sure that the only code stored is the catalyst. See, the only monitor that's not ready is the cat monitor. Read fault code. Current P0430. That's it. And it's also pending. So definitely needs a converter on the driver's side. Guys, is it just me? Or is this brand new Jasper Reman engine already have a tick? It sounds like a tick to me. Good old Pentastar.